On May 1st, 1999, at 9:30 PM, directly following the 12th Annual Kids' Choice Awards, the very first episode of a little show called SpongeBob SquarePants aired on Nickelodeon, and, well, it became incredibly popular. And what do you do if you're a big corporation who likes money? You try to get as much money as possible from said popular thing. This then led to Nickelodeon releasing SpongeBob merch. Lots of SpongeBob merch. I didn't realize truly how much there was until I saw a Kid Icarus clip, which is essentially him going through a morning routine, except every item is Crash Bandicoot merch. And then I realized that's me, but with SpongeBob.
I'm SpongeBob!
I wake up, put my retainer in a SpongeBob case, put on my SpongeBob slippers to walk to the bathroom, and brush my teeth with my SpongeBob toothbrush before I wear my SpongeBob shirt, hat, and socks. Damn. Anyway, Nickelodeon began merchandising SpongeBob around the early 2000s with pretty much what you'd expect from merchandise of a children's show. We got plushies of SpongeBob, Patrick, Mr. Krabs, Gary, Squidward, and Sandy in 2000, and bendable figures in 2001 and 2002. Now, figures and plushes, that's all pretty normal. But what do you do when you've already sold plushes and figures? I mean, you can make more plushes and figures, and they still do to this day, but chances are that once someone owns a SpongeBob figure, they don't really need to buy another SpongeBob figure, unless they're a collector. So now what do? Well, you just slap SpongeBob on whatever you can think of. He's such a marketable little guy. Like, he's the perfect thing for products. The show itself is child-friendly, but can also be enjoyed by adults, which covers everyone, which is a large market. And doing the slap thing on every kind of product strategy leads to some incredibly strange outputs sometimes, and that is what we're going over today, as we look into the world of weird SpongeBob merchandise. Starting off, we have the SpongeBob Pez, which on the surface seems pretty normal. I don't think I need to explain what Pez are, but just in case, they're these little candy dispensers that you fill with Pez candies and then eat them out of the Pez dispenser. They make them for like everything, so if you want to eat candy out the neck of your favourite character, now you can. Now, this seems normal enough until you realise the Pez comes out of here. So I don't know if I need to point this out, but this is where his dick should be. And when you want a Pez, it looks like SpongeBob's penis. But a Pez dispenser, that's still pretty normal. So why don't we move on to the SpongeBob X Thomas and Friends mini trains and what went wrong? First off, turning SpongeBob into a train, that's a very strange concept, but hey, people like Thomas the Tank Engine and also SpongeBob. So I guess it makes sense, but the designs, what went wrong? Squidward, what did they do to you? What happened to his nose? What happened to SpongeBob's nose? If you take that away, this is just a yellow face. Why does Patrick now have a nose? What happened? SpongeBob characters are all very unique shapes, and if you try and convert that to train, doesn't really work all too well. Especially when you remove their defining elements. Look what they did to Pearl. This is meant to be Pearl. These don't look like official SpongeBob merch, but hey, they are. Honestly, out of all these, I said the Mrs. Puff one looks the best and least nightmarish. Moving on, we have the SpongeBob Toaster, which is a toaster that not only has SpongeBob's face on it, but the toast also has SpongeBob's face on it. This is cool. I don't eat toast and I only use a toaster for Pop-Tarts, but I still want a SpongeBob toaster. Maybe you compare your SpongeBob toaster with some SpongeBob crumpets, which honestly, this is a cool idea. Crumpets usually are circles, but these ones are square, and the colour of crumpets combined with the fact they're all holy, as in have holes, not like holy, makes them look like SpongeBob. More than the trains at least. And who wouldn't want to toast SpongeBob in his own toaster and then eat his burnt body? If you want to do that, bad news, they don't sell SpongeBob crumpets anymore. You'll have to stick with normal bread in your SpongeBob toaster. But if you love eating SpongeBob, you'll probably also love sitting on SpongeBob with this SpongeBob chair. It actually does look pretty cool and high quality. I can't feel it, but look at this. It's sick. You can buy this chair on Amazon right now, and I'm no chair expert, but this seems like a reasonable price for a chair. Does look pretty wacky, but hey, it's more interesting than most chairs. It has SpongeBob's face on the back part of the chair, and his pants on the bottom part. Not to mention the shape of the chair is pretty square, which fits his character design, being that he is, in fact, square. But if you're not a fan of this SpongeBob chair, how about this SpongeBob gaming chair? Admittedly, SpongeBob doesn't have a mouth here, but still. This one follows basically the same design as the other chair, except for that the shape of the chair is now the shape of a gaming chair. But still, his face is up here, and his pants are on the bottom, which just makes sense. Imagine having both these SpongeBob chairs. Like, you can sit and work at your PC in your SpongeBob chair, then relax in your other SpongeBob chair. Moving away from furniture, let's look at the SpongeBob Bear Brick. Bear Bricks are collectible designer toys, according to Wikipedia. They're big bear-shaped figures of popular characters that are collectibles. Basically, they're like Funko Pops, but for rich people. And there is a SpongeBob one. It's SpongeBob but as a bear. And it looks weird. It is right, like his head is his head, his shirt is on his torso, and his pants are on his legs, but I think it's the proportions. Like SpongeBob's a square and his torso is very small. So seeing him bear shaped and also having such an odd shirt to head ratio looks odd. There's also a gold one and a superhero SpongeBob one. But honestly, the Funko Pop looks better, and also they're pretty expensive too. So as I mentioned before, Nickelodeon had released SpongeBob plushes, but there is something missing from these plushes. And I think we're all thinking the same thing. What these plushies need is a vibrating function. Whenever I hold a Patrick plush, I just wish it would vibrate. Well, Kid Robot answered all our prayers by releasing vibrating SpongeBob plushes. Now, I cannot think of a reason why you would need a plush to vibrate. Apparently this is for an additional snuggly sensation, but I'm a little skeptical about how much more snuggly simply making a plush vibrate can be. This seems like a fairly useless feature, but when you've been selling plushies for like 2 decades, you do kind of need to mix it up a little. Remember when I talked about the SpongeBob chair like a few seconds earlier? Well, I think I found the perfect thing to go with it. The SpongeBob CRT TV. You can relax in your SpongeBob chair and watch your SpongeBob TV. This bad boy released back in 2004, and it's a yellow TV. This makes sense, I guess, like the TV is a square, and you know, so is SpongeBob. It's apparently 13 inches, and there is multiple versions of this. One with a DVD player built in, and one without. It also comes with a SpongeBob branded remote, which, of course it does. Honestly, if I ever see a SpongeBob TV, I'd buy it. SpongeBob's face is at the top, but he has no mouth, which suggests the TV is his mouth, and we are simply watching his mouth. Cool. He also doesn't have any pants, which is like half his name, but I'll let it slide because the solid yellow TV just looks cool. SpongeBob isn't just a TV show. It's actually one of the best-selling video game franchises of all time, believe it or not. I mean, it's on the Wikipedia page, so that counts. Obviously, there used to be a licensed kids game for everything, and of course, SpongeBob had loads. Like, this one's for a TV special. Some are actually pretty good and still hold up. Battle for Bikini Bottom had a remake in 2020, which was incredibly faithful to the OG game. Like, weirdly so. It even has the same hidden things out of bounds as the OG one, which is odd. But I don't want to talk about the many SpongeBob games. That's a video for another day. I want to talk about the SpongeBob plug and play. If you don't know what a plug and play is, read the name. You plug and you play. These things are essentially cheap games consoles that you'd be able to plug in easily, and they'd have games already just built into the console. With the controller being the console in this case, there's multiple SpongeBob ones, but the most famous is this one, where you get to control the game with his nose. Every kid's dream. These only have 2 of the 3 AV input cables, which means they're going to be pretty poor quality, but hey, they were cheap. The games were pretty basic obviously, but I mean, there is some fun to be had here, I suppose. The games included on this bad boy were SpongeBob's Bubble Pop, which was a game where you bounce a ball off of SpongeBob's head to pop these coloured bubbles. And you do get some items to help you. Again, these are very basic. We also have Sandy's Surf Adventure, where you play as Sandy and have to stop a giant bullworm from terrorising Bikini Bottom. You essentially just move through Bikini Bottom, shooting or dodging enemies until you reach the final bullworm boss, which by the way takes like 40 minutes to do. Then you kill it and win the game. Cool. The next one is Invasion of the Hooks, which is based off that one episode with the Hooks. And you play as SpongeBob and throw Krabby Patties at the Hooks to stop them taking away Squidward, Patrick and Sandy. If one gets taken away, you lose. L. Also, if you make it far enough into the game, they add Mr. Krabs and Gary to the mix. So you just do that and see if you can beat your high score. Okay, next up is Patrick and the Maze, which is a game where you play as Patrick and search around a maze completing various challenges to find your friends. This game actually has a speedrunning leaderboard and the current world record is 9 minutes 10 seconds. The final game included on this thing is the Super Chum Bucket. Basically, Plankton has kidnapped Sandy in the hope that it will lead to SpongeBob trading the Krabby Patty secret formula for her. Obviously, SpongeBob would never do that, so we've got to platform through the Chum Bucket and get to Sandy to save her. It's basically a platformer. So, I think to round off this video, let's cover something simple. The SpongeBob thermometer. All 3 of them. That's right, there is not just one SpongeBob thermometer. There is in fact 3 different SpongeBob thermometers. One of these just has SpongeBob's body on top of a yellow thermometer, and the others have them as the thermometer with his face just on it. I honestly prefer the one where it's his body on top of it, because anyone can slap his face on a yellow thermometer, but now you've got an entire SpongeBob figure in the shape of him on top of your thermometer. That's way cooler than just a yellow thermometer with SpongeBob's face on it. Not to mention, this one also plays the SpongeBob theme song, which is pretty neat. If you ever wanted to listen to the SpongeBob theme song wherever you go, just bring your thermometer. Anyway, that wraps up our look into the wacky world of weird SpongeBob merch. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out Our Stupid School. It's a cartoon I made and I am in. I voice this character and all these characters. Episode 4 is out now and you can watch it on the channel. Also, I have membership, so check that out. Goodbye.